One farmer told us he got a PhD in architecture, but one day he decided to quit his job and he moved up to our mountains. He started farming, and he is one of the most business-minded farmer involved in the project.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast of Socially Engaged Universities. In this podcast, we travel past 5 European cities, stopping at Exeter, Ghent, Magdeburg, Delft, and Parma. All these cities are part of a network called Socially Engaged University that studied for the last 2 years how knowledge institutions can have more societal impact, next to their traditional mission, of course, of educating and researching. Most importantly, these cities got to work. They piloted new ways of universities to engage in societal questions.
Today my colleague Stephanie Schilbeurs and myself, Sam Paper, both from the University of The Hague of Applied Science, talked to 2 Italian guests about their project in the mountains surrounding Parma. One of our guests speaks Italian and her English is not that perfect, so Stephanie will translate her Italian into English for your listeners.
We will try our best. Benvenuti a tutti, a tutte.
Grazie.
Un piacere. It's a pleasure having you here. Yes, today we dive into our Italian pilot project, happening around the city of Parma in the northern half of Italy, somewhere between, you should think, Milan and Rome. For those who've never had the chance to visit Parma, you should really. The region is most famous for its food, and that's for good reasons. Wherever you're from, you've probably heard about the Parmigiano Reggiano, the Parmesan cheese, and of course, those beautiful big hams hanging from the ceiling to dry, prosciutto di Parma. And so, it may also not surprise you that today we will be talking about food and farmers. With us today are Cecilia Mancini and Marianna Cavalli Borri. Buongiorno ancora.
Buongiorno.
So Cecilia works as an associate professor for the University of Parma in the Department of Economics and Management, while Marianna Cavalli Borri is the president of the Foundation Andrea Borri. You have both worked intensely together on a project called Parma Mountain of Quality, Montagna di Qualità. So, give us some context. Where are we in these Parmese mountains? I imagine and picture these beautiful rolling slopes, green in the summer and gold in the fall. I know that you can hike there very well, and then I imagine that you stop after a long day of walking and you have a beautiful meal somewhere in agriturismo.
Yeah, it's so true, yes. Yeah, the province of Parma, which is located in the Emilia-Romagna region, has a quite unique geographical pattern because it includes mountains, hills, and plain areas. And the mountain areas are quite fragile from the environmental point of view, and but the environmental quality has been now fostered by the presence of protected areas, regional and national parks. And organic agriculture is quite widespread. We count, of course, a number of PDO and PGI agri-food products, Parma ham, as you mentioned, but also Parmigiano Reggiano, and the mushroom from Borgotaro, and many others. And we also have traditional niche products and some interesting tourist itineraries, hiking trails, often located along medieval tracks. And all this makes our mountains potentially interesting for, a territorial tourist offers.
There's the Via Francigena there, right? The famous path to Rome?
Oh, yeah, sure. A lot of tourists, okay, not in these times, in these hard times, but yes, many tourists come over here and they can find, accommodations also thanks to the presence of agritourism. Yeah, that's nice. And as far as our project, there are at least 70 farmers involved.
Right.
And they are mainly small farmers with family businesses. Many of them are elderly farmers, but some others are the so-called new rurals. They are young people who decided to change their lifestyle, and they started to farm. And as far as the products, they range from vegetables, fruits, cheese, meat, ham, honey. Sometimes they are sold directly to consumers. In other cases, in farmer markets, and of course in agritourism.
Okay. Marianna, I wanted to ask you, what made you want to invest your time and energy in these mountain farms? Oppure in italiano, per quale motivi la fondazione ha deciso di investire tempo e energia nelle montagne e queste piccole aziende agricole?
Diciamo, noi abbiamo ereditato da Andrea Borri l'attenzione per il territorio.
So the foundation, Andrea Borri, really cares a lot about this territory in the Parmese mountains, and it started the project Parma Mountain of Quality, not only as a project, but it also registered it as a brand that all the products could be gathered under, as they say.
Per la montagna.
And then you found it very important to invest in these small local farms because they are a way to combat the leaving of people from the mountainous area. So they are an important force there to strengthen the economic activity and keep people socially, economically also living in the mountains and being there and having a good life.
Non solo la montagna, ma anche la pianura.
And then we also see that people really care, even more in our times, about investing in products that are organically made with eye for tradition and good quality. And so we believe it's important to support these farmers in doing so. Thank you. For the university, I was wondering, what made you jump into this project? What motivated you to understand better the problems and challenges of these farmers?
So we got in touch with Fondazione Borri, and we were asked to design a sort of collective marketing strategy for these products, which are labeled as Parma una montagna di qualità. So what we have done was mapping the farmers involved in the project by identifying their products, their volume of production, and by identifying their territory where they are located as well. And so we have listed all these characteristics of these features of the farmers, and we set up a database. So, but we also ask them their perception about the project. So we wanted to understand what they thought about it, if they found any obstacle or worry about that. We also ask the farmers about the story of the farms, their family involvement in farming activities, and at the end, we produced, and we are producing now, one card for each farmer, including both quantitative and qualitative aspects of the farming activity. And this card will be uploaded on a website which is under construction now.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, the task of the university was really to map the territory, the farmers that are there, understand better what they're doing, how long already, and also see what are their obstacles or challenges. And so can you tell me something about those obstacles or challenges that they face in their lives?
Yeah, well, you know, the first problem was the pandemic. So we intended to meet in presence all the farmers, but we couldn't do that, of course. So in a way, we have delayed some steps of the project. And I think one of the weaknesses of these types of project is that the connection, the real connection, is not strong enough between, the institutions and the farmers themselves. So we now hope to, overcome this hard time, as I said, and so to meet them in a way to build trust.
Yeah, I was wondering, Mariana, you told us that many farmers were leaving the area, and I was wondering, why do these farmers leave the area?
La domanda è per quale motivi i contadini o le aziende piccole vanno via di questo territorio? Potresti dire un po'?
Ovviamente
the mountainous region is quite a tough place, a harsh place to do farming, because you, for instance, have much less space to farm, and so your the volume of what you make is much smaller. And secondly, there is also the pianura, which means the plains surrounding Parma are also there, and they've been really industrialized, and they make big volume of agriculture. They've been specialized, and they also have simple things like autostrades, or the highways, to easily transport their produce, which is much more difficult in the mountainous area. So for competition, I reckon it's much more difficult to really have a good life and sustain yourself as a farmer in the mountainous area.
Sì, naturalmente.
Yeah, that's also one of the most beautiful things about this. Some people really see this as a challenge to really work in the mountains, have a high quality of life, a different quality of life in the mountains rather than in the busy city or the busy life of the pianura, and also to make products that are of high quality and be proud of them.
Yeah, I would say that there are also some weaknesses connected to the farmer mentality. They are not very business-minded. I mean, many of them are not business-minded. So they need someone organizing for them, all the distribution channel part and any communication and marketing strategy. So they are producers, they are farmers, they are not managers. So this is one big challenge. And of course, if you are up on the mountains, there are so many problems with lacking infrastructure. Yeah.
I wanted to go into a bit what you said, the mentality of the farmers, Cecilia, because I know that one of the objectives was also to really maybe make a network between these farmers. Is that something that comes natural to them, like the Swiss example we just had, or is it quite a challenge still? How do you see this?
There's a large variety of mentalities.
Yes.
As I said, some of them, yes, are not very business-minded, but some other, yes, they are. And one very surprising thing is that we found out that during the pandemic, some farmers proved to be resilient. They organized a home delivery box scheme, for example. And so they delivered boxes to the consumers who were stuck at home. And I think these farmers should be considered as driving forces for these producers in the project who need, examples. So one farmer told us he got a PhD in architecture, but then he said one day he decided to quit his job and he moved up to our mountains. He started farming, and he is one of the most business-minded farmer involved in the project. And he says his products both in the Parma markets, but also I think in the Milano markets, Milan markets, yes.
So his reach is much bigger, and so he can sell more. So what is his motivation? Why would someone give up his regular job and then just pack up and leave and become a farmer, even in a place that is quite harsh to live in? with cold winters and...
Yeah, but I suppose, and I believe they are looking for a new lifestyle, far from urban places. They are looking for, some relationship with the nature, with the environment. And we see that also the institutions are now promoting and are funding families to move up to the mountains. And this is a very successful project.
For the university, I was wondering, what would you say made this project really innovative for working like this?
I think this project has been very innovative for us. And first of all, I think this project has created kind of virtuous circle. And on one side, the university has provided the project with knowledge and skills, such as data elaboration, and also provided some master degree students working on the project. But on the other hand, the university benefited from this case study in which the students had an opportunity for on-field learning. And more in general, it has been an excellent opportunity for innovative teaching. The students have carried out their internship by interviewing and mapping farmers. They wrote and they defended their final thesis. But we also recorded some video interviews to producers, and these have been used to as a supporting material for a student case competition in the framework of a summer school, international summer school, on food sustainability, which has been organized by the University of Parma and was held between June and July 2020. And finally, as I said earlier, a website is now under construction, and the aim is twofold, because this website will provide the farmers and their products, some visibility, but on the other hand, the students of the master degree course will post their articles or their case studies, papers, or any other work concerning sustainable value chains and food quality schemes on this website. So innovative because it really provided many benefits for both the sides, the community and the university as well.
I was wondering what surprised you during this project. And I thought maybe Marianna could collaborate as well as Cecilia on this question. Che ti ha colpito, che cosa ti ha colpito durante questo progetto, Marianna?
Allora, per quanto riguarda quello che ha detto...
First, adding on to what Cecilia said about how this was innovative to work together with the university. And you've explained that for the Foundation Borri, it's very important that usually you work with volunteering and etc. That it has been very important that the university has added its scientific research and its stability to make a project really launch and continue. And you really see also potential for universities to work like this, to really add value to the projects that are run from civil society, but sometimes lack certain capacity, like the university has for research or for bringing up projects to a new level. Oh. The conditions might be really hard in the mountains to survive and to live well, but it's interesting to see how people adapt to these situations.
Così fragile l'equilibrio della montagna, lo sappiamo tutti, penso, ma di come l'uomo si aggrappa.
Because there is this fragile balance in the mountains. It's hard to sometimes to remain in these mountains, really. On the other hand, some people really see this as an opportunity to challenge themselves and to be part of this beautiful surroundings, and they really choose to be there and stay there. And you see it as a responsibility as well for the civil society, and in this way, together with the university, to make the conditions to stay for the people that live there, feasible and sustainable for the long run. So what lessons on this collaboration between the foundation, the university and the farmers would you say you've learned?
I think that we have learned, at least I'm talking for the university, I think that we have to build up links with the community, stronger links, because the third mission is not enough developed yet, in Italy at least.
And third mission, what does that mean?
Third mission means that the knowledge and the skills of the university have to be used for community engagement and community involvement, because I believe in co-creation, because of course we can benefit the society, but by being involved in the society, we also, university academics, receive benefits. So, we are from the Department of Economics and Social Science, so we need, to be interlinked with the society to make our research meaningful.
So Marianna, a te volevo dire che cosa era l'obiettivo del progetto e come si continuerà. So what do you see as the main outcome of the project and how will it continue in the future?
L'obiettivo è stato fin dall'inizio quello di creare una rete di produttori.
First of all, we wanted to make a network of all these different farmers, and this we've at least established, to make a map of all of the producers that are there and try to involve them in this network.
Partendo da ovest e spostandoci verso est.
However, we do have some obstacles that we've met. For instance, the farmers are not used really to work together. They are much more focused on their own farms and their own lives. And so this is really a change in mentality that needs to happen. So this is still really a path that we would like to walk together with the farmers and try to bring them more together. And one of the first steps was to really set up a website that they at least know of all of each other and can learn from each other. This website is really interesting, not so much from a commercial perspective, but really for supporting the farmers, for instance, to ask for help amongst each other or advice. But also the fact that there's the university as a point of reference, that you can really ask them the questions about how can I train myself or how should I develop this or that part of my farm.
I was wondering, you spoke about this network of farmers, but I can understand that if for example, two farmers both make Parmesan cheese, they are in the same market. So why do they want to work together while they both make the same product?
You're exactly right, Sam. This is exactly what the problem is, that of the mentality. This shouldn't be seen as a competition, because the fact that if you would have a rich mountain full of small but really good quality farmers, it would attract more consumers. However, if you would have like a war between the farmers, it's not so attractive to go there and visit the different farms and then buy their stuff.
And was it hard to talk with the farmers about this? How did they react on your ideas of collaboration instead of competition?
We're still working on this, so it's not yet really a set idea. It's still that we need to really talk about this and convince them also that as a group you can do things that you cannot do as in your own individual farm. Can we also maybe visit this website at some point and maybe even find a web shop there so that we could order produce?
Well, at the moment, the website is under construction, so it's not available at the moment. But it's not a marketing platform. It's just, a kind of, you can see the products, you can see where the farmers are located, but you cannot make transactions, online transactions at the moment.
Well, we will visit the local markets and find the charm there to meet them in person, probably.
Oh, definitely, yes.
So the call to action is go and visit Parma and its mountains, and then meet these people in person and buy those beautiful projects. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should really go there indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.